Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today we've got large school predictions, classes 4, 5, and 6. Last week in the small schools, I went 14-4. The large schools, 17-1. It was a really good week for me. What does that end up being? 31-5 overall. So good week for me. Let's go ahead and look at those scores from last week. Class 4 is on your screen right now. Chillicothe beats Moberly 52-47. Richmond, they get upset by Lexington. This is the one I got wrong. Lexington is now 3-26 since I believe it's 2008 or 2009 since Richmond. So third win in 29 games. That's a good one for the Minutemen. Bolivar beats Monette, I believe is how you say it, 69-45. Hallsville wins on the road over Boonville 59-57. Orchard Farm over Holt 60-48. Orchard Farm now 10-3 on the season. They're looking solid. Hallsville's looking good as well. And Stratford, I believe they're top 5 in Class 4. They get it done over Reed Springs 57-48. That is a really good win for the Stratford Indians. The Class 5 scoreboard. We had some pretty good games in Class 5. The first two, not close whatsoever. Elias, they beat Capital City this past Friday 60-35. Both those two teams 7-9 on the season, but those are two different feeling 7-9s. You know, Cap City doesn't really seem like the greatest basketball team in the world, and Elias, man, they're just not. They're not a 7-9 basketball team. If you guys understand what I mean there, like they're playing down right now. They have a lot of tough competition. They've let a few games slip away that they should have won. Like, they should at least be 8-8 right now, honestly. But it is what it is there. Elias, I think, ending the season of 500 is at least the goal. Obviously, they want to do a little bit better than that. They're in a tough district, though. They've got Rolla, St. Francis Borgia, and Jefferson City in that district with them. So once they get to the playoffs, obviously, it's the same thing for everybody. But once they get to the playoffs, it doesn't get any easier. Parkview, they had a few games where they lost, I want to say 4 in a row that they lost. They turned around here. They beat West Plains on the road 82-48. That is a great win for the Vikings. They did just lose to Nixa pretty badly, though, the other night. Vianney wins at home over MICDS, a really solid MICDS team that's playing a lot of tough competition. MICDS is kind of the same thing with Elias. Both those two teams kind of shooting for 500 because they're playing a really tough schedule. Vianney now 11-5. Ladue loses at home to Westminster. I took Westminster. I was really on the fence with this one. I want to say what I saw from GSV, Westminster had an 18-point lead at the start of the second half and completely blew it. They were tied at like 48, and Westminster holds on to it. It was a really close call for them, but they win. Rolla loses at home to DeSmet. This one probably expected. DeSmet just picked up their second loss of the season to Chaminade the other night. So those are two really good basketball teams. DeSmet, I want to say, is third in Class 6, and Rolla is second in Class 5. So that was a really big game. And Festus loses on the road to Farmington. Farmington's looking really good. I want to say they're top 5 in Class 5 now. Class 6 scoreboard from this past week. Liberty North, they've kind of fallen off a cliff. They're 8-9 now. Blue Spring South looking really good. They're 12-3. They won this one 54-51. Francis Howell is now 8-10. It is what it is there. Liberty Wentzville, they are 14-3. Looking good. They win that one on the road 58-44. Fort Zumwalt North beats Washington. That's a really big game. North now sits at 13-5. Washington 12-4. That's a 55-42 win for the Panthers. Smith Cotton loses at home to JC. This one kind of expected. Smith Cotton's a really good basketball team, but JC's just way better. And Jackson against Central, Cape Central, whatever you want to say. This is a really big rivalry. Jackson has their number in football, but when it comes to basketball, that's the Tiger sport against Jackson. They win this one 48-42. And, that rivalry just continues to grow. Oak Park, they put it on Central St. Joseph 96-44. Not a close game whatsoever. Oak Park, the number 1 team in Class 6. I think they'll win state. We will see. Let's go ahead and get to this week's predictions. Let's put the Class 4 scoreboard up on your screen right now. Orchard Farm versus Clayton is the only game tonight that I will be predicting for Class 4. I think Clayton wins this one on the road. They're fourth in Class 4 right now. They're playing really well. They're listed at 9-1 in Misha. I promise you they played a lot more games than that, though, as far as I know. I think there's some tournament games that they just haven't put into Misha, and they probably never will. Maybe they will like at the end of the season or something. It really annoys me when teams do that, but there's nothing you can really do about it. I think the Greyhounds will win. 70.7 points per game, allowing 49. St. Charles, I think another team that just hasn't really put anything in. They're sitting at 4-2 listed on Misha. I think they played a lot more than that. I think Holt wins this one on the road. They're sitting at 11-8. The record's not beautiful, but I'm quite certain that they're the better team in this one. They're scoring 58.6 points per game, allowing 53.4. They impressed me when I got to see them against Harrisburg. Now, it is a smaller school, but, I mean, they play that game without Gabe Cunningham, so I think the Holt Indians have some stuff to look forward to, including a win over St. Charles potentially. That is tomorrow, Friday night. Court warming for Nevada. They are playing Lamar. This is another Friday night game. That's going to be big for me. There's going to be a lot of fans there for court warming. Nevada is receiving votes in Class 4. They're scoring 51 points per game, which is not really that impressive, but they're only allowing 45.1 a game. They are 9-3 against Lamar since 2009, so give me Nevada. The Class 4 game of the week is Vashon versus Principia. The number one team in Class 4 goes up against the number one team in Class 3. Principia sits at 18-0. They are undefeated. They're looking great. They have some really good wins. But the same thing can go for Vashon. They've got some really great wins. They're sitting at 15-2. They lost to an out-of-state team, and they lost to Oak Park, which is probably going to be the Class 6 state champ. I think Vashon wins this one, and I'm taking that because they're at home. That's going to be the big thing for me. I'm going to take the home court Vashon Wolverines here. What else? They're scoring 69 points per game and allowing 52. Principia, man, they're going to make a run. I don't know. I have Montgomery County winning state, and those two will meet in the Elite Eight. So I don't know if Principia will make it to the Final Four. You can say the same about Montgomery County, I guess. But, these are two really good teams. This is going to be a fun game. Father Tolton versus Hickman. Hickman doesn't have to move very far to get to Tolton. Both these teams in Columbia. I think Hickman will win technically on the road. This is, they're going crosstown. So not home court, I guess you can say. Hickman scoring 62.6 points per game, allowing 57.8. A big thing I want to point out, they're 1-7 since 2017 against Father Tolton. I'm not worried about that. I think Father Tolton's a great team. I just don't like their effort. I don't like the effort they've been putting in. So I think Broadcamp's going to take over, and I think Hickman will end up winning this game. Richmond versus Lafayette County. Lafayette County, 9th in Class 3 right now. They're scoring 66.9 points per game, allowing 46.9. A big thing that I'm thinking here is that Richmond just lost to Lexington. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Lafayette County beat Lexington. So I will take Lafayette County on the road. I could see this one going either way. The Class 5 scoreboard for this week, we will start off with tonight, Kearney versus St. Pius the 10th. I've been told to say the 10th. I think Kearney wins this one. They're sitting at 10-4. This is a home game for them. 57.9 points per game, allowing 44.1. They are 6-2 matchup history dating back to what Misha has listed since 2004. So give me the Bulldogs. JC versus Rolla. This is our Class 5 game of the week. Number 2 in Class 5, the Rolla Bulldogs are traveling to number 10 in Class 5, the Jefferson City Jays. I'm going to take the Jays at home. They're scoring 67.1 points per game, allowing 59.5. They don't have any insanely impressive wins. Beating Father Tolton's really good. Beating Elias is a great thing as well. But, they don't have the most insane resume quite yet. But this is a really tough place to play. When this place packs out, It's a Friday night. Everybody that supports the Jefferson City Jays will be there as long as they're not, out of town or at work. So it's going to be a packed house. I think that's going to play into it a lot. So give me the Jays winning at home. Ladue versus Jackson. This is another Friday night game. Ladue's third in Class 5. They're scoring 59.7 points per game, allowing 51.8. Give me the Rams. The second best game in Class 5 this week, I was kind of deciding whether or not I make this one the Class 5 game of the week. Ended up going with JC versus Rolla. This one that I'm talking about is Westminster versus John Burroughs. This is a crazy game. John Burroughs, I believe, is 8th in Class 5, and Westminster is 9th. I'm going to take the lower-ranked team. Give me Westminster. They're at home. They're scoring 61.2 points per game, allowing 44.1. That win against Ladue is big. They've really won me over, so give me the Westminster Wildcats. Next, what we got? Vianney. They are hosting SLU, the Junior Billiken. Vianney's 11-5, as I said earlier in the video. They're 7th in Class 5. They're scoring 77.5 points per game. Most of those are from Luke Walsh, obviously. And they're allowing 65 points per game. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really going to factor that in for sure when we're talking about the playoffs. I'm really not a fan. If you're allowing more than 60, probably not a good thing. But when you got a guy like Luke Walsh, dropping 2 separate 50-point games already this season, that's really important. So give me the Griffins. Central Springfield, they're playing Willard. I think Central Springfield can win this one. They're receiving votes in Class 5, scoring 60.7 points per game, allowing 53.7. They're not as good as they were last year, but they're still a pretty solid team. They've got a winning record for a reason, so I will take the Bulldogs. Class 6 scoreboard, as we start to wrap up this video just a little bit. CBC versus Chaminade. Chaminade, they are looking crazy. Now, this is another team that doesn't put in their record in Misha, so they're not 8-1. They played a lot more games than that, but as of what Misha says, they're 8-1. They're being hosted by CBC. Chaminade just beat CBC like 2 weeks ago. They're second in Class 6. They're scoring 68.9 points per game, allowing 54.3. Give me the Red Devils on the road. Blue Springs versus Lee Summit. Give me another road team. Now I'm looking at it. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will take Lee Summit. They're receiving votes in Class 6, scoring 59.9 points per game, allowing 56.1. Hazelwood Central, versus DeSmet. This is our Class 6 game of the week. This one's really big. Hazelwood Central, they played pretty good this year. They do have 6 losses, but they played some tough competition. They beat Vianney earlier in the year. You can say the same for DeSmet. Both of these teams have beat Vianney. I think DeSmet wins this one on the road. Give me the third road team here. They're third in Class 6, scoring 69.8 points per game and allowing 48.3. Republic is being hosted by Glendale. I'm going to take the Republic Tigers. Give me my fourth road team of this graphic. They're 8th in Class 6. They're scoring 61.7 points per game, and they are allowing 50.2 a game. So I will take the Republic Tigers. I know one of their losses was Nixa. I'm not certain what their other one was. I'm pretty sure Nixa's only lost 1 game this year. I think it goes to Bolivar. So that's literally it. So Republic's a really good basketball team. They've proven it. They have 13 wins as far as it says on Misha. So really good basketball team. I think they can beat Glendale. Green Valley's hosting Raytown. I don't know how this one's going to go for the home team. Raytown's a really good basketball team. They are 4th in Class 5. This is my first time talking about them this year because they just haven't played elite competition, really. They're a really good basketball team. I'm not saying that they're cakewalking because they have a cupcake schedule or anything. It's just that here, as of late, they haven't played anything insane. So I think Green Valley's probably one of the better teams that they played here lately. So I finally have the opportunity to talk about the Blue Jays. As I said, I think I said it, sitting at 15-2. That's really good. I don't think I said that. I said that they're 4th in Class 5. They're scoring 61.7 points per game and allowing 54.2. I think the Blue Jays get this one done. Our last one for the day, Kickapoo versus Webb City. Webb City sitting at 9-7. Kickapoo is 15-2. Man, this is a really good Chiefs team. They're fourth in Class 6. As I said, they're really good. They're fourth in the highest class of Missouri. So that really says something. They're scoring 62 a game and only allowing 44. I say it every video. You guys know I like it when it's under 50. So I'm going with the Chiefs, obviously, at home. That's the only one. The only one on the Class 6 scoreboard that I'm taking the home team. I'm taking 5 road teams in Class 6. So that's all we got for today. Tomorrow, if you're watching this on Thursday, it should be up at 5 o'clock. It is currently 2:33 as I speak. Tomorrow, I will be at Slater. I'm a little disappointed the way the tournament is formatted. The championship game starts at 9 p.m. That's really rough. It is. So I will also be doing the third place game. I don't know who is in the championship or who is in the third place. I might just try to talk you guys through it as I look here. I'm going to pull up the Slater Wildcats Misha. Slater Wildcats basketball. So the third place game is at 7:30. The championship is at 9. They're playing Brunswick, which Brunswick is the 1 seed in the tournament. So, yeah, they beat Glasgow a third time this season. A third time this season. The first time they played was December 2nd. They won 49-46. The one that I was supposed to be at Glasgow, they won 69-61. And then they just won in the Slater Wildcat Classic, 52-49 against them again. So it'll be Glasgow versus Pilot Grove in the third place game. I will post the championship game before that. So championship game and then third place game on the channel. Third place game may end up being up on Sunday and championship game up on Saturday. I have work at, I want to say 2:30 on Saturday, so I don't think I'll be able to get the opportunity to go out. So that is the schedule coming up here. I have no clue what I'm doing Monday. I can't even tell you what I ate for lunch yesterday. But that's all we've got for today. Stay tuned for the Slater Wildcat Classic on the channel. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.